cool. So for Friday, the astrological associations we're going to start with, we have the moon in Capricorn, and then there's a conjunction at what they call cazimi conjunction, which is a very strong conjunction. It's in 17 degrees of the sun, so that we have the sun's rays boosting and combining with Saturn, right? And conjunction is already when the energies are combining and strong. So super strong combination of this moon and Capricorn energy, the sun giving it a boost, and Saturn energy. And so I wanted to pull those cards. I went ahead and pulled them ahead of time so we can kind of just talk about. I'm going to try to keep this brief. I already see I'm going way over my kind of intended time anyways, but whatever. So moon in Capricorn, you know, so in tarot, the astrological card that governs Capricorn, or I should say the tarot card that governs the astrological sign of Capricorn, my bad, had that mixed up, is the devil card here, right? Few different meanings on that. We have devil as Baphomet, devil also as subconscious fears, right? Looking at about that, anyone that knows some Capricorns is really sense we get bound to attachments on worldly things. This is commitments. This is where our jobs, our goals, etc. You know, the trick to using the card is to realize that we're the ones that choose these attachments. We can free ourselves at any time. It's also, if we're, you know, practicing the Aphroditic state of Baphomet, and, you know, having that solar male and female kind of energies combined, you know, it's mastering our impulses and being in control of them, including some of our fear-based impulses, right? Also archetypally, when this card shows up, this is about kind of like motivating a fear. So Capricorn is governed by the planet Saturn, which is interesting why this whole Saturn conjunction and everything is coming up, right? So we have the moon in Capricorn. In tarot, the moon can represent a few things. You know, this can be an inner alchemical transformation of, you know, more dense or emotional energies that we've been carrying around, and bringing them to the light. It's working with, again, some of our inner impulses and mastering them, so you can see how those kind of connect their moon in Capricorn. But what really jumped out at me when I was studying the moon card prior to this reading was moon can also represent some of our subconscious and our subconscious illusions even, right? Areas where we're fooling ourselves. So I see this, you know, this moon in Capricorn is really, especially when we have the sun card now coming in with that cazimi conjunction of Saturn. I'll talk about that in a second, but sun always brings clarity and truth, right? So it's really like we're examining the truth of, you could say, what are some of these subconscious fears that are holding me back, holding me in attachment, okay? Otherwise, it could be maybe some of the things that I'm attached to are actually illusions, and really recognizing that, having the bravery and clarity and growth to move past what's limiting us is really just being our own emotional illusions, you know? And sadly, maybe it could even be like the illusion that someone cares about you, you know, a particular person, or that like this thing is working out great. That would be the Saturn aspect. How are we going to examine this? So this could be positive or negative illusions, but it's things that are keeping us trapped, that have been weighing us down, that really, you know, when we're talking about letting go, this isn't going to be like little stuff here, because with the planet of Saturn, Saturn is the world card in tarot, right? The influence of Saturn. And what this is this pause between cycles, major cycles in our lives before we're starting new things. And I also see this card as a lot of, it could be representing loops. Saturn is about, this is an integration card. It's about integrating the lessons we've learned from running loops so we don't have to keep running them anymore, right? We can move on to, you know, the world card becomes the zero, the full start in this new journey, and then you have the one, the magician, the manifester, and we start on this like higher plane of existence, right? But if we get stuck forever perpetually in this loop of illusion that just traps or weighs us down, and it could even be a fear-based illusion, right? Like, I'm afraid to lose this, or I'm afraid this will happen, so that, right? This is a whole process now of recognizing it with that sun energy, that cazimi conjunction with Saturn, and being able to, you know, embrace that sun and move towards that growth. And then it's interesting, you know, and the devil card too, how do we, you know, beat some of those fears? Is the male and female, same thing from the lovers, this is the 15, right? If you break that down, it's the 1 and 5, 1 plus 5 is 6, that's your lovers card. But instead of governed by the angel of growth, you know, they're governed by this devil of fear in essence, right? But what's really beautiful is you can use these two next coming up archetypes here. You know, the female being the you know, let's say the moon or the lunar energy, and the male being that solar energy. And if you even look at how those combine and literally lighten and kind of overpower some of those fears, or can break some of those chains, and we get the world, which is also a completion and a wholeness, to realize maybe some of those things that we're afraid of, right, already exist within ourselves, or they exist within our matrix. That's I guess another way you could see this card is this person surrounded literally in this bubble of illusion or bubble of perception, right? That's an interesting way to interpret that also. But I really see that moon in Capricorn, you know, both as transmuting some of those, like maybe fears or attachments, but, you know, for better or worse, it's just a time to see, are some of these illusions even real? And recognizing these loops, like I said, that are taking our emotional energy, maybe have been for years, that we don't have to run anymore, but it's going to take a process of inner stalking that down. So like if you're afraid of, like, oh, I'm afraid my partner's I'm just going to make something up, my partner's going to cheat on me. All right, okay, so what's the fear of that then? Oh, because am I, you know, stalking it back? Am I going to feel unloved? Am I going to feel rejected and not feel not good enough? Am I losing my financial or relationship stability? And then you could stalk that back even farther to say, well, why am I receiving my stability? Or what part of me says I need to receive my stability from the actions of another person? Okay, well, I learned that from somewhere. And then you get it, X, Y, and Z, going further and further down the rabbit hole, so to speak, with that light and clarity of that sun, using that cazimi conjunction in the moon in Capricorn. So super long video, way longer than my prediction ones, and we didn't even get to handling it or anything like that. Just something to reflect on astrologically, taroscopically, astro tarot, etc. So I hope you all have an amazing day. Blessings.